Howdy, Space Rangers, Captain Phoenix here. Whoo, boy, do wow, I don't know how to do this review in all honesty. I originally went to go see this film on opening night, but plans changed, way too many people at the cinema. But yeah, this movie is wow. After 10 long years of waiting, we finally have Avengers Endgame. I can't believe it. After waiting an entire year from Infinity War and 10 long years to have this, Marvel Studios has given us a reward. They've given us a reward for our patience, and they've told us this is yours. This is fan service for you guys to the highest standard. And to that, I don't know. Of course, to anybody who has a brain, I am talking about Avengers Endgame. Now, if you remember last year, I did a camera style video, like I did a face cam video on where I was reviewing the movie. This time, I'll just do a podcast review. Maybe people seeing the image alone will let them click on it, and I'll get more views. My cat is over there on the rocks. Why did I say that? Anyway, so let me give you my review of Avengers Endgame. Also, spoiler warning, it is so hard to review this movie without giving off spoilers. I am not going to lie. This movie is really hard to review without giving off spoilers. Like, let me tell you, there is not a single second I thought of writing this review without mentioning one spoiler here and there. So if you haven't seen the movie, please don't watch it. And even if you don't care about spoilers, don't watch this review. Go watch the movie, then come back. I'll still be right here. Anywho, now that I've given out the spoiler warning, and now that hopefully people have actually watched the movie, let's talk about the movie itself, Endgame. Wow, the movie opens 3 weeks after Infinity War, and everything is just haywire. The whole Earth is in this post-apocalyptic aftershock. Iron Man and Nebula are trapped in space playing finger football, I think it was. And now they've reached Earth with help of Captain Marvel, and wow, things are crazy. Imagine this, they go to kill Thanos in the first 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes aren't over and they kill Thanos, which I thought was a bold move. And oh my goodness, this story is just wacky, and all these characters. I don't even know how I can give off the plot to the story. They have to go to an alternate reality where they have to collect the soul stones before their owners collect them, and then they have to return them back at that time when they pick them up. And then on top of that, we have a crazy final third act, which is just superhero eye candy, which is beautiful. It's insane. Let me get this off my chest. Let's start with the characters, because honestly that's the most memorable thing about this movie. So this movie seems to be split into 3 parts. We would have the first act, which is about the post-apocalyptic world. Then we would have the second act, which is a time heist, and then the third act, as I said, superhero eye candy. So the first act is a post-apocalyptic superhero world. Post-apocalyptic world where half of all life has been lost and everyone doesn't know what to do. Everyone's sad and it's really hard for them to move on. Everyone but Iron Man is just there. Iron Man has moved on, and he feels that with himself and his surprises, he decides to get himself a child, quit the superhero life, and raise her up as his own. And in all honesty, I can see this working for Iron Man. He's reached rock bottom to a point where he feels like now it's his responsibility to start all over again from scratch and possibly forget about everything that happened in the past. So yeah, that was Iron Man's story arc. And the thing about the first act of this movie is that all the characters, well, at least it's a slow introduction back into the Marvel universe. I went with my family the other day, and I remember my mom telling me, or at least, yeah, my mom telling me that she didn't like the first hour. And I was wondering how come. She was like, it's too slow. The story was being way too slow to get on. And I honestly thought I disagreed with her. In all honesty, I really thought this was a great way to introduce us back into the Avengers world, and having us in a post-apocalyptic world with zero to no action, with little to no action. I found it to be really interesting as we get to see where these characters are, how far they've come, and how their journey moves on. So instead of having punch, punch, action, action, which is also being saved for the final fight, we actually get to be invested in these characters and their journey and the struggles they're going through. We've been with them for the past 10 years, and this just only feels mandatory to do so. And so, yeah, that was the first act. The first act was just them trying to get over the snap. Obviously, they don't do it. And even when they go to confront Thanos, we have Thor who just slices off his head. Then they ask him, "Why'd you do that, man?" "I went for the head." And it wasn't like a heroic moment. It was one of those moments like where it's too late. You can't fix it now. Then the second act is a time heist where they go into an alternate reality, at least an alternate time reality, where they collect the soul stones and the infinity stones and have to return them back before it's all over. At least return them back to their timeline before the other alternate reality destroys itself. So that's interesting. But otherwise, you know, it was, I really found it entertaining. I really don't want to give up too much here, but I will say some of my favorite scenes of the movie did come from this, where we have quiet scenes, Captain America looking at Peggy, missing her, Iron Man talking to his dad. That was a wonderful scene. It was just amazing, in all honesty. This movie has sparked some marvelous scenes for me. You see, before the movie came out, people kept on posting videos of this one marvelous scene. Well, I really honestly didn't have anything of this one marvelous scene. I guess the snapping would be that, but not really. But this movie gave me so many one marvelous scenes that I could even say that I have my own marvelous scenes. And not just one, but like 3 or 5, dude. It was insane. There we have the final act, which was just punch, punch, laser, laser, kill, kill. It was beautiful. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. We have reached the peak of humanity, folks. We can only go downhill from here. I am trying to give as little as I can in this review, but wow, this movie was amazing. We have faced so many characters, and we've also gotten so many character deaths. Well, not really a lot, but like when a character does die, it hits you. Black Widow, she's gone, and it was really sad. We have Thor, who is in a depressed state, but with help from his friends and family, he was able to get over it and, you know, join the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of the movie, which is not a direction I thought they would take this in, but okay. And also, Iron Man dies. Iron Man dying is something I really did not expect. I thought for sure it would be Captain America. But nope, we have these guys in the ends. Iron Man dies, sacrificing himself for the entire universe. And Captain America, he goes back in time to live a full life with Peggy Carter. And in all honesty, wow, that was amazing. Honestly, these guys having their own character arcs was just great. In fact, it's so hard for me to just finish with all of them. Black Widow, she dies to get the Soul Stone for the greater good. Scarlet Witch gets her revenge on Thanos because of Vision. Vision is gone for good. And all those characters who died before, people such as Loki, Vision, not Scarlet Witch, but Black Widow, Gamora, they're dead for good. They ain't coming back, which means when they died, that is the last time we will see them in the MCU, or at least they'll be officially gone, which is kind of painful to go through. And in all honesty, I did not tear up during Infinity War. Infinity War was just a rush of a movie for me. It was just going so fast. This movie was slow and sad. Boy, this movie was damn sad. I teared up twice during the movie. The first time was when everyone who got snapped came back, and the second time I teared up was Iron Man's funeral. And honestly, those were like 2 marvelous scenes for me. At least my top 2 marvelous scenes. One was really epic and huge, and it felt like a reward. When we get to see the characters come back, it's not like a cheap knockoff of, oh, they snapped, oh well, they're obviously gonna come back because they have future movies in the making. No, you actually feel it when they come back. You feel like it's a reward. You feel like you've actually gone on this struggle with the characters, and getting these guys back just feels so good. When seeing all these characters come back, including my favorite MCU character, Peter, come back, I teared up. I'm not lying. Then we had Iron Man's funeral, which was one of the saddest scenes ever, and literally everyone was there. We had the Guardians, we have Peter, we had Tony's family, we had the Avengers, we even had that kid from Iron Man 3. Like, crap, man, they went all out. And, whew. And with other character depths, we had Captain America, who is really trying as a soldier to move on and keep focused on the next mission. But once this movie is over, he says, yeah, my work is done. I'm done. I'm living a happy life. He goes back to the past and decides to stay there. And when he does go back, whew, you could really see it. His mission is complete. His life is complete, and he can finally rest. He becomes an old man and gives Sam Wilson his shield. Sam Wilson becomes the new Captain America. And the possibilities of a new Captain America movie coming in the future, yeah, they are high. So now Sam Wilson is crowned as the new Captain America, which honestly was a shock to me. If anything, I thought Bucky would be the new Captain America. Seeing as he's Captain America's close friend, it would have made so much sense if Steve gave him the shield. But hey, this movie also subverts expectations, would you know it? And having Thanos come twice was also a shock. The first time they kill him, people are like, oh, shortest movie ever. But then the second time he comes, it's madness. And people say that when Thanos came the second time, he just got reduced to super generic movie villain. But here's the thing, in Infinity War it was his movie, so therefore he would think how he would, like, we were seeing it from his perspective. Now we get to see it from the hero's perspective, and Thanos was really vain. Even in Infinity War, he was a really vain character. And therefore I just don't side a lot with people when they say, oh, Thanos' character was ruined, how dare you do that. In all honesty, it just seems to fit in well. People also had a problem with Professor Hulk. Speaking of which, Professor Hulk, I had high hopes for Hulk going into this movie. Like, when I knew he had a bad relationship with Hulk in Infinity War, and especially in Thor Ragnarok. That's why I was hoping going into this movie to be this perfect combo of Hulk and Banner, where maybe Banner has Hulk's body and, you know, he still has his Banner smarts. I didn't think it would actually come to fruition. This was a theory I had before going into the movie. You do not know how satisfied I was when I saw it actually come to play. Professor Hulk was just honestly one of my favorite characters. He has that quirky, shy, but dorkiness of Banner, but at the same time, you know, he's got Hulk's body. It was just a beautiful combo, and I never thought they would actually do it, but they still did it. People like Hawkeye were made cool again. Hawkeye, as people said, was a poor casting choice. He's not really an Avenger, but wow, they actually made Hawkeye do things in this movie, like make him do crazy things in this movie again to make him feel like an Avenger. This movie was really an Avengers movie. Infinity War was Thanos' movie, but this movie was about the original Avengers, the original group that was there way back in 2012, and this was a present for the people who stayed. And Iron Man. Iron Man finally had a family. He finally figured out to be a good father. And in the end, when he got the Infinity Gauntlet, he snapped it. Everything went back and, well, everyone was saved. But in the end, Iron Man gave up his life, which was something I did not see fall. I thought he was going to live a happy life with his family, but not really. And so Iron Man died, and honestly, it was one of the most tear-jerking moments. He goes out saying, I am Iron Man, which just shows that this movie was written by people who actually care about the fans. And if anything, this whole movie was just a love letter to the MCU and to fans as a whole. I cannot tell you how much this movie just paid respect to everything that came before it. It was marvelous, honestly. Wow. Whew, I could go on with the characters, but it's either I'm forgetting some or some of them I just don't know. Like, Nebula was developed so well. We had Gamora's arc. Now this movie was about Nebula's arc. We finally get to see her good side. We finally get to see her cheer up. And the first part where after the Marvel logo shows and she's playing finger football with Iron Man, that was great. We just get to see character development from her. The first 30 or so seconds was chilling when Hawkeye's family dies. That was wow. And everyone else just grew. I mean, maybe Rhodey didn't grow according to like how I expected him to, but not really. And them going into an alternate reality doesn't like play as Back to the Future where they ruin the present. They just went into an alternate reality. So there was also that. It was insane. Having Ant-Man also come back and check it out on Cassie. I thought for sure Cassie would be like the new Ant-Man or the new Wasp. Not really, but wow, this Then we have the final act. After the time heist and them meeting their friends, it was insane. My favorite part from the time heist was just Iron Man talking to his dad. That, I don't know, for some reason it just touched me so much. Finally, we get to the final act. Thanos is fighting these guys, and so many of my favorite moments came from here. We have Captain America wielding Mjolnir, proving his worth. Even Thor is like, yeah, I knew it, and it was beautiful. The minute Mjolnir just floated off the ground, came into Cap's arm, and Cap just summons lightning, I was basically cheering. Then we have where Cap is defeated. His shield is in half. What is he to do? We finally see that that Doctor Strange opens up portals behind him, and everyone starts coming out of the portals. Everyone who was snapped comes back, and this was the moment I just teared up. Everyone came back, and it was so rewarding, so fulfilling. And seeing them all fight Thanos, just wow, it just made me want to stand up and cheer. Obviously I couldn't do that because I would look weird, but oh boy, that was the most exciting moment of my life. Nothing can ever top that. Well, maybe something can top that, but that feeling I had, I don't know if it can be replicated ever again. I just wish I filmed myself having that reaction. Then after that, we had Iron Man's death and funeral, which also made me sad. Then we have his daughter who likes cheeseburgers with Happy, and to those of you who are die-hard fans, you know what that means. And yeah, I like how it also had a sort of Return of the King style ending, where it has more than one ending and it won't end until everything is concluded. I kind of like that. In honesty, with Return of the King, I liked its numerous endings. Most people hated it, but I loved it. I loved seeing ending so many times. So that's why when I saw this type of ending happening, I wasn't really like pissed off or anything. Seeing Peter come back to school, team up with Ned, maybe telling his story of how he disappeared, it just felt so good. I wondered how Aunt May was feeling at home 5 years without Peter gone. With Peter gone, it must have been so hard. Ned also missed his best friend. Everyone's gone back home. T'Challa is ruling over Wakanda again. This movie was just jam-packed with so much stuff. On other reviews I've watched, they're usually like 6 to 10 minutes long. Here I'm going for 16 minutes, almost 17, guy. Anyway, let me wrap up the review. The CGI is great. The fight scenes are amazing. As I've said so many times, the final act fight scene was my favorite fight scene in all of Marvel. I just loved the mindless action. It just brings out your inner 12-year-old, if you know what I mean. It was beautiful. And the characters were all fleshed out well. Even Thanos, who people say was a downgrade. He didn't get as much screen time, but he was smart with his plans and he did know what to do. And I feel like everyone else had a solid conclusion in the end. Thor became a guardian of the galaxy, leaving Asgard to be ruled under Valkyrie, which was actually a shock to me. I know it fits Thor's character, seeing as he doesn't like to rule. So having Valkyrie be the queen of Asgard, that was, a nice, pleasant surprise. I didn't think it would go that way, but here we are. Cap being old and handing over the Captain America baton shield to Sam was also great. I thought he would hand it over to Bucky, but you don't know. And even just everything just had a nice end. I really did like this movie. It was honestly the most beautiful, greatest Marvel movie I've ever seen. Go watch it if you haven't already. I don't know why you're still here watching this review. And yeah, I know I usually give ranks of movies I watch, like out of 10. It would be so hard for me to give this one, seeing as it would be hard for this movie to stand alone. It's basically the final part of a story that's been taking over 22 movies, and to top it off, 10 years. I will give you my rank, but let me just say that this movie was a perfect conclusion. And even if you sit all the way to the credits, there is no after credits scene, but there is something special after the credits. When the credits are like wrapping up, you do hear this hammering sound. Ping, ping, ping. That hammering sound is the same sound Tony Stark made when he was in the cave creating his first Iron Man suit. I don't want to delve too much into it because I actually want you to watch the original Iron Man. But it does show how this started and how it all ended. Starting with the first Marvel movie being Iron Man, and just coming to a conclusion with Endgame. Yes, there are gonna be other Marvel movies in the making, but this just feels the end of something special, and no other studio has come close to this. My final score for this movie is a 10 out of 10. Nothing else. This movie gets an easy 10 out of 10 from me. It was beautiful in every way, and I just wish I could see it over and over again, but I can't afford a ticket to a movie so many times, so yeah. But all in all, this movie was just great. It really deserves this. This was the perfect way to go. True, there are some flaws, but overall, I could look over those flaws any day. And that is why I give Avengers Endgame a neat obvious but well deserved 10 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. I know I've been going on for 20 minutes straight so far. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you don't get bored along the way. I hope I didn't repeat so many times. And I really do hope you go watch this movie. Make this movie the highest grossing movie ever. Let's beat Avatar. Hashtag beat Avatar. And without further ado, I will see you in another universe.